Have you ever felt completely drained after a day that others seem to breeze through? Do you find yourself needing hours of quiet time to recover from social events that your friends describe as just a fun evening? If you're constantly exhausted despite getting enough sleep, you might be what psychologists call a highly sensitive person, or HSP. High sensitivity isn't a disorder or a weakness. It's a neurological trait found in approximately 15 to 20% of the population. Dr. Elaine Aron, who pioneered research in this area during the 1990s, discovered that highly sensitive people have a more reactive nervous system. Their brains process information more deeply, picking up on subtle details that others miss entirely. Imagine your brain as a sponge. Most people have a regular kitchen sponge that absorbs a reasonable amount of water. But as an HSP, your brain is like a super absorbent sponge, soaking up every drop of sensory and emotional information around you. The lights are brighter, the sounds are louder, the emotions in the room feel like they're your own, and all of this processing happens whether you want it to or not. So why does this lead to such profound exhaustion? The answer lies in something called cognitive load. Your brain is constantly working overtime, processing layers of information that others filter out automatically. That flickering fluorescent light at the office, you notice it all day. The tension in your colleague's voice during a meeting, you're analyzing what it means. The texture of your clothing, the temperature of the room, the subtle shift in someone's facial expression, all of it gets processed deeply. This deep processing is neurologically expensive. Brain scans of highly sensitive individuals show increased activity in areas associated with awareness, empathy, and sensory processing. It's like running multiple high-intensity programs on a computer simultaneously. Eventually, the system needs to shut down and recharge. But there's another layer to this exhaustion that's often overlooked: the emotional labor of living in a world that wasn't designed for you. Society tends to value extroversion, toughness, and the ability to push through discomfort. As an HSP, you've likely spent years trying to meet these expectations, suppressing your natural responses, forcing yourself to attend events that drain you, and feeling guilty for needing more rest than others. Let's talk about what happens during a typical day for an HSP. You wake up and immediately start absorbing information. The morning news feels overwhelming with its barrage of negative stories. Your commute exposes you to crowds, noise, and a constant stream of visual stimuli. At work or school, you're navigating not just your tasks, but the emotional undercurrents of every interaction. By lunchtime, you're already running on reserves, but you push through because that's what everyone else does. You attend meetings, respond to messages, maintain your focus despite the sensory chaos around you. Each interaction, each decision, each environmental stimulus chips away at your energy reserves. What others experience as background noise, you experience as foreground data requiring processing. The result? By the time you get home, you're not just tired, you're depleted at a cellular level. Your nervous system has been in a heightened state of arousal all day, and now it's demanding recovery time. This is what researchers call overstimulation, and for HSPs, it's not an occasional occurrence, it's a daily reality. The threshold for overstimulation is simply lower for sensitive people. What might energize or merely occupy others can completely overwhelm you. There's another dimension to HSP exhaustion that deserves special attention: emotional absorption. Highly sensitive people don't just notice emotions in others, they often absorb them. This isn't the same as empathy in the traditional sense, it's more like emotional osmosis. When you walk into a room, you pick up on the emotional atmosphere instantly. If there's tension between two people, you feel it in your body. If someone is sad, their sadness becomes a weight you carry. This happens automatically, often before you're even consciously aware of it. Now imagine carrying not just your own emotional experiences, but fragments of everyone else's throughout your day. You have a brief interaction with a stressed cashier, and their anxiety lingers with you. A friend shares their relationship problems, and you're still processing their pain hours later. You watch the news and feel genuine grief for people you've never met. This emotional porosity is exhausting in ways that are difficult to explain to people who don't experience it. It's not that you're choosing to take on others' emotions, it's that your nervous system hasn't learned to create firm boundaries between your feelings and theirs. The result is a kind of emotional fatigue that sleep alone cannot fix. Here's where things get complicated. As an exhausted HSP, you desperately need recovery time. But the very things that might help you recover, social support, engaging activities, new experiences, can also further drain you if not carefully managed. You know you need connection, but socializing requires energy you don't have. You want to pursue hobbies and interests, but even enjoyable activities involve sensory input and decision-making that tax your already depleted system. You need rest, but your mind is so overstimulated that true relaxation feels impossible. This creates a paradox. You're too exhausted to do the things that might help you feel less exhausted. Many HSPs find themselves stuck in this cycle, oscillating between forcing themselves into activities they hope will energize them and withdrawing completely to recover, only to feel isolated and stuck. The guilt compounds the problem. You feel guilty for canceling plans, for needing so much alone time, for not being able to keep up with others. You might push yourself to appear normal, which only deepens the exhaustion, or you might withdraw completely, leading to loneliness and depression. One of the most painful aspects of being an exhausted HSP is the lack of understanding from others. People who don't share this trait often interpret your exhaustion as laziness, antisocial behavior, or even rudeness. They don't understand why you need to leave the party early, why you can't handle back-to-back social events, or why you need a full day to recover from what they consider a minor outing. You might hear things like, "You're too sensitive," or "just toughen up," or "everyone gets tired sometimes." These comments, though often well-intentioned, reveal a fundamental misunderstanding of what you're experiencing. Your exhaustion isn't a choice or a character flaw. It's a physiological response to the way your nervous system processes the world. This misunderstanding can lead to self-doubt. You start questioning whether you really need as much rest as you think. Maybe you are just being lazy. Maybe you should be able to push through like everyone else. This internal conflict adds another layer of stress, which of course leads to more exhaustion. So what can you do if you're an HSP who's constantly exhausted? The first and most important step is acceptance. Your sensitivity is not something to overcome or fix. It's a fundamental part of how you're wired. Once you accept this, you can stop fighting against yourself and start working with your nature. Begin by identifying your specific triggers. What situations, environments, or activities drain you most quickly? Is it crowds, loud noises, conflict, certain types of social interaction? Once you know your triggers, you can make informed choices about how to manage them. Create what I call recovery rituals, specific practices that help your nervous system down-regulate. This might be time in nature, which many HSPs find deeply restorative. It could be creative expression, allowing you to process all that input you've absorbed. Maybe it's gentle movement like yoga or walking. The key is consistency and intention.
Learn to set boundaries without guilt. This is crucial. You need to protect your energy the way you'd protect any other valuable resource. It's okay to say no to events that will drain you. It's okay to leave early. It's okay to need more alone time than others. These aren't indulgences, they're necessities for your well-being. Consider your environment carefully. As an HSP, your surroundings have an outsized impact on your energy levels. Can you control the lighting in your space? Reduce noise? Create a sanctuary that feels calming rather than stimulating. Small environmental changes can have significant effects on your daily exhaustion levels. Here's something worth considering. Your sensitivity, including the exhaustion that comes with it, is connected to some remarkable strengths. Your deep processing allows you to see patterns and connections others miss. Your emotional awareness makes you an exceptional friend, partner, and colleague. Your ability to pick up on subtleties gives you advantages in creative work, problem solving, and understanding complex situations. The exhaustion you experience is, in many ways, the price of these gifts. That's not to romanticize suffering, but to acknowledge that your trait exists on a spectrum. The same nervous system that becomes overwhelmed by stimulation is also capable of experiencing profound beauty, joy, and connection. Many HSPs find that when they learn to work with their sensitivity rather than against it, they can access these strengths more fully. They become better at managing their energy, which allows them to engage more deeply when they choose to. They learn that their exhaustion is information, telling them when they need to pull back and recharge. If there's one practice that can transform the experience of being an exhausted HSP, it's self-compassion. This means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a good friend. When you're exhausted, instead of berating yourself for not being stronger or more resilient, acknowledge that you've been working hard just to navigate a world that isn't designed for your nervous system. Self-compassion means recognizing that your needs are valid, even if they're different from others. It means honoring your limits instead of constantly pushing past them. It means understanding that rest isn't laziness, it's how you sustain yourself for the long term. Practice speaking to yourself differently. Instead of, "I should be able to handle this," try, "This is genuinely difficult for me, and it makes sense that I'm tired." Instead of, "Everyone else is fine, what's wrong with me?" try, "I process things more deeply than most people, and that requires more energy." This shift in self-talk might seem small, but it can dramatically reduce the additional stress that comes from fighting against yourself. When you stop viewing your exhaustion as a personal failing, you free up energy that was being spent on self-criticism. One of the most healing experiences for many exhausted HSPs is finding others who understand. When you connect with people who share this trait, something remarkable happens. You don't have to explain yourself. They get it. They understand why you need 3 hours of silence after a party. They don't judge you for canceling plans when you're overwhelmed. This validation is powerful. It confirms that you're not broken or defective.